सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति।
Please start.
All right, thank you. So yeah, I think we do have a presentation. It looks like it's a close knit group, so we'll keep it very interactive. We'll not make it very formal, but we wanted to start with a little bit of a structured agenda. So I'm going to share my screen. Please let me know when you are able to see it.
We can see it.
Thank you, Nirmala. All right. So, thanks a lot, everyone, for joining. We are here to launch the online courses for the, we are about to create a new organization called Arsha Jyotish, which is essentially the organization that has been conducting all these Jyotish conferences on an annual basis. We want to start with the online courses for that, and why we are doing that. We'll just talk about that a little bit. So on this auspicious day of Makar Sankranti, we are starting that. A very quick agenda is this. We want to introduce the teachers. So we have the initial roster of the teachers, which is Shri V.P. Goyal ji, Shri Vinay Aditya ji, Michael Sugarman, and Dr. K.S. Charak. So we would want to introduce them. I think again, this is a close-knit group, so I think everybody knows each other, but we'll move through that very, very quickly. And then we want to talk about why we are doing these online classes, because this is something that we are doing not just based on our whims or our desires, but we have heard a lot of feedback from the attendees of the Jyotish Mela. So we are basically responding to that feedback. Then Goel sir will talk a little bit about why it is important for us to understand Jyotish, what is the importance in the today's context, right? Then we want Vinay Aditya ji to talk a little bit about why should we learn Jyotish, how we can use it, what is the idea behind it, and talk a little bit about the introductory course that he will be teaching to start with. There is a specialty topics track that we talked to Michael about, and he will be. We are building that track right now. It will be announced very soon. So Michael will talk a little bit about that, and then we'll talk a little bit about the administrative stuff as to how these courses will be launched, how they will be made available, and the process for enrollment and stuff like that. So Meenakshi will take care of that. So with that, Rakesh, I'll just hand over to you for a very quick round of introduction for all the teachers, and then we'll hand it over to Dr. Charak.
Yeah, everybody. Here it is good morning in India. Makar Sankranti started. So this is the most auspicious moment to start these classes, and it is the initiative and Gaurav which made it happen. Because Swami Dayanand Saraswati, who founded the ashram, he wrote a letter to me in 1989 to start these classes. So first class when I took it, it was Swamiji was there to cover me, but it was like a very difficult thing to do. And then rather than so in 1986 when the ashram started, Swamiji wanted a muhurta. I didn't know how to create a muhurta. So he says, make the house go firm in the morning and I will choose one. And that's how we chose Sagittarius as rising on November 86. It was a Saturday morning and and then in 89 the course was concluding, so he said start classes. That is how, so 26 years back actually we started these classes, and since then we have over 100 workshops. Over came for the first class, and he taught the introductory class, which was attended by 50 people in the main auditorium, which was the temple. So that was the first class and that is the time he wrote the book. So this introduction to elements of Vedic astrology. Dr. Chirag has been prolific teacher and researcher and also a surgeon. So he will give his talk now, and after that, Mr. Goel, who is an accomplished astrologer who got regional chart, he will continue to do that, and he has a specialty. Vinay Aditya has been teaching Jyotish for a long time. He was basically an expert on Ashtak Varga. Now Ashtak Varga is gone, but everything else is teaching. But that he has written 2 books on Vedic astrology. Dr. Charak has written about 10 books, 10, 11 books. And Goel Saab has written number of books over 10 or 15. So this is a very accomplished team of astrologers. Michael Sugarman has done a fantastic job of researching on all these mental illnesses, and he has been to the ashram for last 20 years. So now we start with Dr. Charak. He has to go for his operation. So, and please, Dr. Charak, please start. Hello.
Good afternoon, good evening. The Vedic chant that I chanted a little while earlier is actually eminently relevant to the teacher and the taught. And it literally means, Om, may He, that is the Lord Almighty, protect us both, that is the teacher and the disciple, together. May He sustain us both together. May we attain vigor together. May the learning of us both be resplendent, and may we harbor no mutual ill will. Om, peace, peace, peace. I welcome you to this first introductory conversation when we start a series of lectures on Vedic astrology. Today is a very auspicious day, Makar Sankranti, when the sun enters the sign Makar or Capricorn, and the Vedic month of Magha starts from today. The sun resumes its northerly course according to the sidereal zodiac today, and the auspiciousness of this day is marked by the fact that Bhisham Pitama, who was the great warrior of the Mahabharata times, he postponed his death till this day. He continued to lie on the bed of arrows for several weeks and left his mortal body only after the sun attained its northerly course. Now, Vedic astrology, I just want to give a little introduction, is an extremely ancient subject, and we generally follow the Parashari system, which came into being more than 5,000 years ago. Parashar happens to be the father of sage Vyas of the Mahabharata fame, and this time has been established to be over 5,000 years in the past. Parashar himself does not take credit for his grand work. He credits the rishis anterior to him for whatever knowledge he gathered and transmitted to us. His magnum opus, the Brihat Parashar Hora Shastra, is available to us, and we have had several authorities on Vedic astrology after Parashar, but their works are not all available. Most of the knowledge from the ancient times was transmitted and preserved through oral tradition. But when the oral tradition stopped, then people started writing books. But then most of it was lost during the medieval times. The last great servant of Vedic astrology was Varahamihar, whose work is available, and we take a lot of material from there for our work. A lot of ancient astrological work and knowledge is also lying um, with the families, with the individuals who do not want to share it with us, and probably only about 20% or less than that uh, is available to us for through the books that are available. Vedic astrology primarily was used as a tool for guidance. It was primarily used by the royalty in the ancient times. Vedic astrology has been labeled as the eye of the Vedas, and this subject enables its practitioner to see the future. So, somebody who can see the future is capable of guidance. And in the ancient times, it was made use of by the kings, who would have a court astrologer who would guide them in the conduct of royal affairs, who would warn them about natural disasters, other disasters, and many things, and then also suggest uh, remedies for the likely future problems. The astrologer would guide the kings about the political affairs, the conquests, the earthquakes, the um, floods and famines, about the diseases, about the uh, epidemics, and so on. And that would make the king or the ruler prepare for the coming events. For the common man also, astrology was important, although natal astrology was primarily not the concern of the common man in those times as it is today. For the common man, the most important branch of astrology was Muhurta, which is electional astrology. Muhurta is especially important even today for the rural agricultural man. And even today, most of the illiterate farmers and villagers, they know some basic concepts of the Muhurta. The other important aspect of Vedic astrology that concerns the common man is the astrology concerned with the marital affairs, choosing a marital partner, assessing the compatibility, assessing the nature of marital life, and the problems arising from there. The basis of Vedic astrology is the understanding of the zodiac and the celestial bodies which move along it. The zodiac, which is an imaginary circle around the earth, is divided into 360 degrees, and each degree has its own importance and relevance. These degrees are further divided and subdivided into minutes and seconds. The zodiac itself is divided into 12 parts known as rashis or signs, and into 27 nakshatras. And the ancient sages have very brilliantly uh, found out the characteristics of each Rashi, each nakshatra, and they have, and of course, each of the grahas or planets, and they have used all this very eminently in the prognostication, in the predictions the position of some, there are only some select bodies that we consider there. They're called the grahas, or loosely translated as planets. And the horoscopic chart is basically a still map of the heavenly bodies charted on the zodiac and charted on a piece of paper. Now, the moment of time for which the horoscope is erected is the time of birth of an individual or an event, and this is of essence. Vedic astrology involves study of effect of this planetary disposition. The planetary disposition at the time of birth of an event sheds light on the future of that event, and study of a horoscope is the commonest method employed to forecast the future. There are other methods also where horoscope is not used. We use some chakras and some special orientation of planets. But the most common is the study of the horoscope. Then arises the question of authenticity of astrology. No one ever questioned the authenticity of astrology in India in the olden times. But today, with the emergence of the so-called scientific and often pseudo-scientific temper, some people question the authenticity and relevance of astrology. Now it falls on us to prove to the neo-literate the scientific nature of astrology. Physical scientists claim that for a subject to be considered as a science, there has to be a cause and effect relationship, a standard methodology, and the replication of results. Vedic astrology fulfills all these requirements very eminently. The planetary disposition at the time of birth is the cause, and the life events its results. Our methodology is no less elaborate than that employed in clinical medical practice. It is even probably more vast than that, and it is not very easy to completely master the whole subject of astrology. In fact, most of us probably confine ourselves to only a fraction of this very vast knowledge. Astrological methodology involves the study of the planetary disposition, the horoscope, and its several subdivisions, and the numerous conditions that depend upon the grahas or planets, which include their conjunction, their proximity, their angular distance, their aspects, their combustion, their direct and retrograde motion, their exaltation, their debilitation, and the like. So there are so many factors which attend upon these various grahas, and which indicate the likely events to come, and it is because of these several factors which we have to take into consideration that sometimes apparently conflicting also, that this becomes a difficult subject and needs a very careful analysis. There is also an elaborate method of timing of events in Vedic astrology, which takes into consideration the operative planetary periods or dashas and the planetary movements or transits. The very fact that predictions do come out to be true is a proof of the replicability of results in Vedic astrology. It needs to be stressed, however, that astrology is not a physical science, and its results cannot be determined in a physical laboratory. As far as the question of how the lifeless celestial bodies from such a distance affect human affairs on the earth, the answer probably must be found by the physical scientist rather than by the astrologer. An astrologer need not know the laws of physics that govern the mechanism of influence of heavenly bodies on terrestrial life. A skilled hunter who can kill a flying bird with his arrow need not necessarily know the theory of mechanical physics behind it. So I think it is for this. Yes,
No.
man wants information today, which was earlier sought only by the royalty. In the earlier times, the professions were fixed, the marriages were arranged by the parents, and the educational pattern was also fixed. But today, the modern man wants to know about his education, his earnings, his relationships, his wealth, his health, his marriage, um, luxuries, children, travel, and several other things. So astrology has a great um, relevance today and is a great tool to answer most of these questions. Uh, Over the past decades, we have strived to revive Vedic astrology and its glory. My own association with the Arsh Vidya Gurukulam uh, is more than a quarter century, and I've been visiting there regularly. Today, astrology is not confined to the few families who traditionally practice it, but um, I'm guarded it as a family secret. But even the most educated and professionally exalted people today are studying this subject. And uh, our aim is to present Vedic astrology in a scientific manner to bring it completely out of the halo of superstition uh, to which it was confined and to make it useful for the mankind. Uh, our continuous efforts have resulted in the fact that the astrology in India and all over even the West has been spreading pretty fast. And I think at any given time in Delhi, we must be having more than a couple of thousands astrology students studying in the astrology schools. They are not necessarily the traditional people. They are traditional astrologers. They are the modern educated people who earlier hesitated to study this subject, uh, which was, in fact, we have revived it to quite an extent. Uh, with this, I wish you all the best in the pursuit of this great subject, and I hope that this endeavor of ours succeeds in transmitting uh, that ancient wisdom of rishis to those who seek it seriously today. I would close it with the uh, same Vedic chant. Uh, Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunattu Sah Viryam Karvavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidyashavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Dr. Thank you. Um, so thanks a lot for that great discourse, Roshak. And so we'll move on to the next topic on our agenda, which is essentially, why what exactly is Jyotisha and why what is the importance of it in our life, and also how do we put this in the context of the modern day and modern life. So I would hand it over to you, Golji.
If you don't mind, I would like to leave because I have to go to the hospital.
G, Doctor. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so
And
much.
Okay.
thank you.
Thanks
Thank
a
you.
lot.
So, Golji, over to you.
Yeah. Okay. Good morning, everybody. And not everybody. Good morning in India and good evening in USA. Now, this sentence itself shows the importance of sun in our life. When sun rises, it is morning. And this repeats and this governs our daily routine, our daily things we do, our thought process, everything. And people say sun is not important or the planets are not important to us. See the effect. Our whole life is controlled by sun. This is one of the basic points. Secondly, if I come to moon also, see how God has created our life right from conception, the preparation for conception, till our death. Let me tell you how mathematically correct this thing has been planned by the Almighty, by God, that is controlled by our lunar cycle, lunar month. I am not going for our these present calendars, but I am going with the calendar of sun and moon. When moon completes one cycle of zodiac, this is a lunar month and it takes about 27 days, 27 and a half or something days. First thing, what God did was to give the monthly cycle of females controlled by this lunar movement. And that is the preparation for the eggs to be created. And after one lunar cycle, the eggs are replaced. This is one lunar month. Next is add a 0 to this 1 month. I get 10 months. 10 lunar months. Once the conception is there, it takes 10 lunar months to be born. That is about 274 days. Dr. Charak has gone, but he would have confirmed this. And we all know, 9 mahine mein garab hota hai. That is actually 10 lunar months. Now add one more 0. That becomes 100 lunar months. That is about 7.5 years. The phases of our life are changing after every 100 lunar months. See, first change is at the age of 7.5 years. Then at the age of 15. Then at the age of 22 or 23. The ashrams are changing. See how beautifully these are linked with the lunar cycle. Do we have to say more that the planets have influence on us? They are regulating our cycle, our life cycle. And this life cycle is extended up to 1500 lunar months. 1500 lunar months will be about 112 years or 113 years. And in between all these 1000 lunar cycles, etc., have been given importance when the major changes of life change comes, like Balavastha, education, Grihasthashram, all these are controlled with these lunar cycles. See, other planets also have wonderful roles on this. These are the main 2 planets. Like in astrology, we say Saturn governs calcium. And the age of Saturn comes in your old age, Budhapa. And that time, you struggle with calcium. Okay? So this is in short, Jyotish is totally controlling our life, controlling our daily routine. I may tell you one thing. With this Jyotish, okay, I will come to, I think this is what I had prepared. I have more points also. Yeah, all our festivals are controlled by the motion of sun and moon. Because like Diwali comes on Amavasya, special significations, but that we will consider when we teach astrology. Because this introductory course is for the people who want to learn astrology or those who have learned astrology and want to see the details. Because astrology is a language, and until you learn that language, you cannot read the book, which is our horoscope. So the most important thing is to learn that language of astrology. And that is what we are all trying to make it as easy as possible, because this is a very difficult language. Then last point I want to touch, why? What is the use of astrology? Why we should learn it? What I feel, that nobody is born perfect except the God. So our lesson from Jyotish should be to find out our pitfalls, our shortcomings, the areas which can create problems to us, and then try to solve them, try to repair them, do our karmas, because this present time is the time of karmas, of the action. We just cannot say that what is written in astrology, we have to take it blindly. No. We have to do karmas to reap the fruits of our life. What is indicated by astrology? We have to still do our karmas. We have to do action. Like if you want to eat fruits of a tree, you will plant a tree, plant the seed, and if your astrology says that you will eat these fruits and you just sleep, do nothing, you will not get that fruit. You have to take care of that seed, water them, give them manure. It does not catch any disease. Then only you will be able to reap the fruits, eat the fruits. So this is the problem with the modern society, modern people, the educated people. Yes, I can say, yes, I am also a little bit educated, but that is a professional education, whereas astrology gives you a spiritual education. And until you understand yourself, what you are not educated. And astrology, in my opinion, tries to tell you that who you are, what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, and how to overcome your weaknesses, and what is the aim of your life. With this, Rakeshji, thank you. Thank you, everybody. I have given my thoughts. Thank you very much. Okay, Saurabhji, I have finished.
Yeah, no, thanks a lot, Balaji. Thanks a lot. Really appreciate it. Thank you once again, and we'll move on to our next speaker, Shri Vinay Aditya ji. So, Vinay ji, over to you. You wanted to talk a little bit about, why should we learn Jyotish and why should we learn it in this context where we are planning to launch this on this online platform. So, please go ahead.
Good evening to everybody, because I don't see any Indians here. I mean, Indian origin people, yes, but you're all situated in USA. Let me start with the two couplets. Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada. Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Prityorma Amritam Gamaya. And of course, Vakratundu Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kurume Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada. The two learned speakers before me have painted the canvas of introduction to Jyotish almost so completely that on the same canvas, I can't draw, I can't paint anything new. Yet, I'll find some small white spots where I can do my bit. I like to read out a little introduction to astrology, which was written by Shri B.V. Ramanji in his book called Hindu Predictive Astrology. Maybe at the time when he wrote this book, an appropriate name was Hindu Predictive Astrology, but that hasn't gained currency over the last 30, 40 years. It's more the word Vedic astrology. And Vedas definitely belong to the Hindu spiritual literature. What Raban Saab has written is, and each word is important, as most of his writings are, no science or art is more interesting. So he has put it as science and art both. And I would like to add to this the word craft also. So Jyotish is all three: science, art, and craft, or other way around, science, craft, and art. Science behind astrology is mostly astronomy, and what the astrologers of the ancient times have done with that astronomical information and how they correlated it with the lives of men and women on the earth, and also the other jivas, is a matter of great wonder. How could they do so much of research and bring out those things? It's absolutely a mind-boggling feature. The second part is the craft of Jyotish. Don't please bring in your mind the word the craftiness, because that is also very closely related to a lot of astrologers, and the reputation that astrology as a profession or as indulgence has brought to it. Craft, I would mean, is learning how to use the astronomical and astrological facts for the good of the human being. And in the craft, you would see how to analyze a horoscope, what is the meaning of a planet, what is the meaning of a house or sign, and the divisional charts and the Shadbala, and the whole gamut of things that we normally teach in the basic Jyotish as well as in the advanced Jyotish. And then whatever you have learned, you may have learned a lot of it, but there is always scope for some more things to learn. And the more techniques that you add to your arsenal, you are expected to become better. But eventually what happens is that an astrologer picks up a few techniques and then works upon them, masters them, and through those techniques alone, he is able to give some appropriate predictions. Now, what is the art behind it? Art is where the science and craft practically stop, and it is your own intuition as well as your ability to interact with your client. By interaction, what I mean is that the client comes to you with a certain idea, with a certain problem usually, and then you have to assuage his sentiments, his feelings, his confusions, and his anxiety. And how you do it, because people who come to you, they will come from all kinds of backgrounds with all kinds of different problems. So how you deal with them is your art. And that depends on your own evolution, your own studies, your own education, and your own sensitivity. So to become a complete astrologer, you have to learn the science, craft, and art of it. Let me revert back to what Raman Saab wrote, and that is, no science or art is more interesting, instructive, and useful to mankind in contributing to his moral and material advancement than the sublime science of astrology. This is the most ancient of all sciences and had reached considerable perfection in India thousands of years ago. Probably that level of perfection is not visible these days, at least not widespreadly. He is also warned in another paragraph that astrology must not be confused with fatalism, witchcraft, palmistry, and card shuffling. It interprets what it conceives to be the future of man as molded by his previous karma and indicated by the planetary positions at the time of birth. The greatest men of the world believed in and practiced astrology. Dante declared it to be the highest, the noblest, and without defect. Kepler, Bacon, Pythagoras, and Democritus were masters in astrology. The ancient Hebrews called the astrologer Asphe, meaning the mouthpiece of the star. It is recorded that Newton was attracted to the study of mathematics and astronomy by the contemplation of an astrological figure of the heavens. So this was from the horse's mouth, straight from the present Mahaguru of the present era, though he is no more, but his words still guide us. In my view, which is not very different from what the other two eminent speakers have spoken, is that astrology is so closely connected with psychology that every psychologist must also undergo a training in astrology. But leaving that aside, because the psychologists would get offended without reason, let's stick to astrology and learn psychological principles from them. As Goel Saab has pointed out, that the moon is the most important planet which guides the life and the psychology of the person, etc., etc. All those things we will be dealing in the introduction to Jyotish by and by. Suffice it to say that the job of an astrologer is to hold the hand of his client and take him a few steps from his present misery and essentially let him cross that difficult path. And then if things are bad, they will become better in due course. So his job becomes of a mentor who has to hold hands in the troubled times. So let us learn the science, craft, and art of astrology so that we can fulfill this job of hand-holding efficiently. And unless we have that approach to our work in astrology, I don't think we are really useful to the people or to the society in general. With those words, I would like to stop here. Thank you very much.
We do have Rajiv Jhanji ji in the audience as well, and he has written many books in astrology as well, and he will be one of the teachers in future. We are still working on which courses to offer for him. So thanks a lot, Rajiv ji, for joining. Thank you. So we'll move on to the next topic. As we said earlier, we are working with Michael Sugarman to create a track specifically for specific topics that he has developed over the years. So Michael, we would hand it over to you for that discussion. Thank you.
Thank you, Saurabh. It's a great privilege and a pleasure to be with everyone this evening. And I keep thinking that every time Dr. Charak, Vinay, Mr. Goel, anytime they open their mouth, there's something that I learn. And that is just as true tonight as any other time. So it makes me look forward to the summertime a little bit more when we'll all be together again. I hope to see everyone then. So I've been invited and quite honored to be able to put together some topics and offer some teachings that are fascinating to me and hopefully to other people. I've presented in the past at Arsha Vidya in the summer program. And I'm, as Rakesh Sharma mentioned, I'm always interested in aspects of psychology, to a certain extent addiction. I've presented on things like accidents, certain kinds of illness, but I like to try and balance that out with something a little more positive and inspiring. So the weekend of March 7th and 8th, there's a plan now to have an in-person program with whoever can make it that weekend, and hopefully we'll have a nice group. And on the Saturday, which is the 7th of March, we'll be putting together a discussion of Bhavat Bhavam, just the idea of house to house, and how houses in the chart relate to each other. And using a set of charts that I would say I have learned from and continue to learn from, and to sort of explore deeply some of these points and how the patterns in the chart have translated into actual events and tendencies in the person's life. So we'll have that to offer. And then on Sunday, I thought we would just do something about creativity, and specifically 3 kinds of creativity that fascinate me the most, which is film, dance, and musical creativity. Where does creativity come from? To me, one of the most fascinating things is a beautiful melody or a beautiful image that I think comes from the heavens. Why does that image or that music, that melody, why does it choose a certain person to be expressed through that individual? Why is that individual the channel or the vehicle for this wonderful inspiration? So I want to look at that, and what I think most people who know me know about me is that I'm mostly committed to ongoing learning. I've said that I would, when I stop learning, I stop doing astrology. I stopped doing Jyotish. I don't want to be passing myself off as someone who knows everything. It's always good to remember that Brahmahira was said to have said that Jyotish is a vast ocean which no one can fathom in one lifetime. And that has certainly proven itself true to me. It is very, very humbling. I always come up against my own ignorance, the desire to learn more, and just sort of move along gradually but steadily as much as possible. So that is the plan for the weekend of the 7th and 8th. And I guess beyond that, we're going to see about online classes, what people might be interested in learning, if there's an interest in learning basics or specific subjects or any realm that we're all curious about. And I would be glad to offer that. So it's wonderful to be able to join everyone this evening. Of course, as I said earlier, I'm looking forward to seeing everyone in person and expanding all of our knowledge and all of our companionship and our Jyotish community, which has meant so much to me. So I think I'll leave it there for now. And once again, thank you very much, everyone, for being part of this evening. I hope to hear from a few more people now before we conclude. Thank you, Saurabh and Meenakshi.
Thank you, Michael. So I just like to add one more thing is the same course which Michael is talking about. If somebody is not able to come in person, will also be kind of live streaming that course from the Ashra Vidya. So, do let me know if you are interested in joining the course. And in between, I would like to check if Rakesh is around. Rakesh, are you around?
I'm around, and
Do you like to introduce Rajiv?
yeah, Rajiv, can you open your?
Can't hear Rakesh ji. Could you be a little louder?
Yeah, let me see how I can. Just 1 second. Yeah, I'm the loudest, whatever is possible on computer. Rajiv Jhanji, can you open your video? Your camera, video camera.
I'm not able to.
Rajiv Jhanji is also attending this meeting, and he is an accomplished astrologer, and also he has written a book on Yogini Dasha. So about 98 or something like that, he taught me how to do Chaitra Shukla Pratipada. So since then I have been working on that. And Rajiv was the Vinayji, why don't you introduce, because you work with Rajiv. Rajiv is on the line. I don't know how. Can you?
Are you looking for his video, Rakesh, or audio?
5 minutes.
Video.
Rajiv, if you can, I think his video is not on. He has to on it on his side.
Is he listening? Rajiv, are you
Yes.
listening? Hello?
Hello.
Rajiv.
Yeah,
Hi,
hi.
Rajiv.
Hi, everyone. Hello, Vinayji.
Namaskar.
Namaskar to everyone.
Yeah, so Rajiv, so Rajiv has written a book on Yogini Dasha, and it was about 25 years back. Rajiv, when did you write that? And a new edition is available now.
Yeah, that was a long time back, 25 years ago.
But the new edition has come up recently, isn't it?
Yeah, we also published in India. It was out of print for last maybe 15, 20 years.
And Rajiv was the for Vedic Astrology magazine. He was they were publishing. So he was also a publisher with Dr. Charak and Vinay Aditya. Those with old Vedic Astrology magazine, are they available, Rajiv, or no?
We are now publishing a Vedic Astrology Digest, where we are compiling all the important articles published in 10 years of Vedic Astrology magazine. So
11.
first one, 11 years,
And
sorry.
they are available on Amazon, isn't it?
Yeah, it's called Vedic Astrology Digest, and first volume is out, and we plan to take out another 5 to 6 volumes in coming months or maybe years.
Yeah, that is wonderful. And Rajiv is brought a very good book on Yogini Dasha. And I learned this Chaitra Shukla Pratipada chart about, I think in 97. When did you come to US?
I think it was in 96,
7.
97. Okay.
Yeah, we started in 97.
Yeah. So good. And hope Rajiv has also taught at Arsha Vidya a couple of times. So,
Yeah, Rakeshji, I joined today's lecture as a student, not as a teacher.
no, I just wanted to introduce you because you were also teaching at Bharati Vidya Bhavan with Vinay Aditya and Dr. Charak 25, 30 years back. So,
right.
So I like the way Rajiv analyzes a chart, and that is why I thought I should introduce you, because his method of analyzing chart is pure from Parashari. So he points out the mistake once you start predicting something, and he says, no, this has to be like this and things like that. So it was a very enlightening time with Rajiv on Vedic astrology, how he analyzes the chart. Vinayji, you want to say something about Rajiv? Rajiv and Vinayji, they worked together for many years before Rajiv came to US. Hello? Hello?
Rakesh, we can hear you. Vinayji, over to you.
Yeah. What about, so Meenakshi, then let us, whether Vinayji is here or?
I haven't been able to hear Rakesh at all. So I don't know what's going on. What am I supposed to say?
No, about Rajiv, if you want to.
About Rajiv?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I could speak for the whole day about Rajiv, because first thing is that we have had a very long association of 17 years together in Delhi. He's a person of multiple talents, and all those talents are highly specialized as well as of a very high order. Starting from, well, he has a great mind. He's also a great graphic designer. And as I said, multiple talents. We started many businesses together. Some of them continued, some of them stopped. But then there was always creativity and dynamism in his way of thinking. And after leaving India, he's made a wonderful career in USA, and his association with astrology continues. And our group of at least 3 of us, that is Dr. Charak, Rajiv and me, we have stuck together and done a few things in the past, as well as we are doing a few things now. Lately, Rajiv has joined the AVG gang, and he's been designing a few stuff brilliantly for the AVG Jyotish course, etc. So his inclusion in the team is a very welcome thing. And I would miss a very important point for the learners of Jyotish, that if you ever want to understand what astronomy is related to astrology, then he is the man to go to. He can draw such brilliant three-dimensional pictures to make you understand what astronomy is that probably nobody else can do. The drawings that he made of the astronomical aspects of astrology right in 97 and 98 are still being copied by the later authors. Verbatim, they can't change anything, they can't improve upon it. So that was his specialization, and of course he has added many other specializations over the years. His book on Yogini is practically a singular book, appreciated all over, and otherwise Yogini was practically a dying dasha system. So,
Can I come a bit?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
With Jhanji's approach, then I have improved upon that, and I have written Progress Yogini Dasha.
Yeah, so that's an offshoot, one can say, in a tangential direction, and that's a special contribution by Goyal Sahib. I have yet to see it, so I can't really comment on it.
Go through it, and you will find.
Yeah, I would like to go through it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we, as I said, I can go on about Rajiv, but
no,
we do have time constraints. Over to you, Meenakshi.
Yeah, so we will have Mr. Goyal teach his Progress Yogini in future classes, and and also we plan to start a diploma course with during our Jyotish Kumbh. So that will be our future plan. So Meenakshi, can you conclude it?
Yes, Rakesh. I will include it as one of the program, and we'll announce it soon on that. And with that, I would like to move on to the next pages, where I would like to introduce it to people how to, if you have questions regarding how to go to the Zoom session. There are times I have seen people facing troubles in going to the Zoom. So I will just take few minutes in walking you through how to go to the Zoom and how to, operate overall. So if usually in class, where the class will be connected to the Zoom conference, and you will see a web reference like this, the zoom.us, and then / and followed by the meeting ID. So all the numeric number is actually called meeting ID. So sometime when you click on the join meeting, you have to just put the last numbers, and that will take you to the Zoom conference. Once you reach to the Zoom conference, you will see this particular screen in front of you. Leftmost, you see your mute button, where you can mute and unmute yourself. Then you will have a start video just besides it. If you want to open your video, you can open up, or you can keep it closed the way it is right now. And then you have to, if you want to add somebody, you can invite it from here. And usually this invite option is open when you are hosting a meeting, not when you are participating. And at the same time, you can definitely see the participants over there. Then there is an option of sharing. This sharing is available when you are hosting a meeting or you are a person who is presenting, then it will be open in front of you. And when you are sharing something, you will have the option to either share one particular screen or you can share your whole desktop. This is an important one for the presenters, because when you are sharing your screen, you should be knowing that once you click on the sharing, it will share your screen, and there will be an option, as you can see on the top, there is a stop sharing option. If I do not want to share or I want to give it to somebody, you have to click on that red button, stop sharing, and then somebody else can share their screen. At the same time, if you want to talk to somebody in the conference, there will be a chat option right besides that. And that is also the way when we are in a Zoom conference and you want to ask some question, instead of interrupting, you put your question in the chat button, and then we take that question at end. And then there is a record button over there, and again that is available for the host to be able to record the session or pause the recording however is needed. And the last icon is about the leaving the meeting, or it's called end the meeting. So however whoever is joining, that will be the option available over here. So and definitely I can, like, if you have any question in terms of Zoom, I will always have one of the video open up, and I can send that video to people to be able to make themselves comfortable about it. With that, I will move to the next page. Next page, I would like to, I have seen people little bit struggling through the registration and the enrollment process. So I thought, okay, I will just walk people through very vaguely about it. So if you go to the jyotish.com, and I have been sending emails about register yourself. So this is how the icon look like. If you go to the jyotish.com, over here, to be able to register yourself, you go to the My Account, you click there. If you have already registered in the past, you can directly log in. If you have not, you will have an option over here to create your account. Once you create your account, there will be just a couple of things to fill up: your name, your address, and your phone number, email IDs, some basic. There will be a process to be able to activate your account. After activating your account, you can re-log in. Once you re-log in, you will be able to see the course offering, and I will show you on the next page. Currently, we are offering these three things which you can see in your current offering. One is the introduction to the Jyotish class from Sri Vinay Aditya ji, which is a 16-week course. It will be conducted every Saturday, 10:30 a.m. EST time. And then there is two courses of the VP Goel, which is one is on the Saturday, as well as one, the same track is going on the Tuesday as well. So we are starting up with Predict with Namansha and the Shamsha, and then it will follow up with D7 and D30. And then there is also a Michael Sugarman classes visible over there, is the Bhavat Bhavan and the creativity course. And it's in AVZ, as well as we will offer it online at the same time. With that, I would like to, like, as I talked about, once you register yourself, you can come and you can open up this class. And on the left hand side, and in your account, you will be able to see this, that there is a dashboard of whatever booking has been done, whatever the online video library is visible, and there is an option of the online course over here. In that, you will be able to enroll yourself for the new courses as well as your old courses. And there will be an My Course option. Wherever you are enrolled into, you can see your courses over there. And all the course material as well as the recording of the course will be available in your course. So for example, right now, if you see that inaugural lecture kickoff, and is the, and if you click on this, you will be able to go inside and be able to see your course material. So it is important overall to be able to register yourself as well as enroll into the course to be able, and that completes the whole process. In addition to that, there is a survey survey button over there. The survey button is more about, we want the whole course to be interactive and to be useful for you. So we would like to make sure that we are taking your suggestion on a regular basis. So this option will be open when we are asking for suggestions, and there will be a bunch of questions which you can answer on the, whenever it is opening up to you. And definitely there is a my account section on the left hand side, and that the my account section is like, when you're facing any trouble in terms of your password and all that, you can definitely go there, change your password, and definitely, whenever needed, you can log out and come out. So I just wanted to make sure that I just go over it so that you know how to enroll for the courses. And there are a few things I just want to point out. In addition to the courses which is offered, there are some programs which is going to be a kind of a long program. At the same time, we are making sure all the latest technology we are utilizing so that the learning experience of the people is going to be great. So for that, we are definitely adding a mobile application for the jyotish.com, and that will be handy to be able to listen to the recording, to be able to get the classes. So those things we are trying to add, as well as we are going to bring a learners platform over there here. So as we want to interact with uh, the teachers which you are learning from, so those kind of platform will have in the future. As well as we are also bringing an online bookstore, so few of the recommended books will be available online for the people to buy. So with that, I will not take any further time, and we would like to open up for the questions for people. And any question, even after this, can come to me, and I will direct that question to the teachers if needed. So right now, I would like to open up for the question answer session, and please feel free to unmute yourself and start to ask your questions. So yeah, should I unmute everybody?
Yeah,
sure. We are unmuting the line.
So everybody is unmuted at this time, unless you have muted it yourself. So please go ahead and, if there are any questions, please go ahead and talk. Otherwise, I think we are pretty much at the end of the session.
I would like to seize this opportunity and put a question to Mr. Janji and Mr. Goel about Yogini Dasha. And
Sure,
the
Michael.
question is, have you used Yogini Dasha down to the third level, past Mahadasha and Bhukti? Do we go down to third level, Pratyantar Dasha level?
Yeah.
In Yogini Dasha, Mr. Janji and Mr. Goel, I wonder if you've seen the utilization of Yogini Dasha that way.
Yeah, this is Rajiv here.
Yes.
Generally, I use up to Mahadasha and Antardasha only.
Mm-hmm. And you found it effective?
Yeah, it is.
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
It is a confirmatory dasha along with the Vimshotri dasha.
Yes.
No, I do it otherwise. I use Yogini first, because I'm changing the nakshatra every 36 years. Each dasha has a different nakshatra. So the ascendant is changing. And we have tried it. Maybe almost I have taught 200-300 students and many teachers, and it is coming as a prime dasha. First you see it and then see in Vimshotri. Now about the Pratyantar dasha, many small dasha periods, Antar dashas, you don't need the Pratyantar. Only major dasha, longer dasha periods, Antar dashas, you can go to Pratyantar Dasha and apply it. I have applied it.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you both.
Thank you. Okay.
Sure.
Meenakshi,
Sure.
start.
Okay.
Om.
Om Purnamada
Purnamidam
Purnamidam Purnat
Purnas
Purnadachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Hari Om Shri Guru Yo Namaha.
Okay.
All right.
So,
Thanks a lot everyone for joining.
namaskar everybody.
Yeah. Goodbye, everyone.
Thank
Goodbye.
you. Bye.
Thank
Bye.
you.